Gout Gout has broken the magical 20-second barrier as he took the 200-metre title at the Australian Athletics Championships in Perth.
A teenager with a name you've probably never heard just broke a 56-year-old record. He trains in silence, avoids the spotlight, and still managed to stun the entire athletics world. So who is Gout Gout? And how did he get this fast, this young? The answer might surprise you. At just 17 years old, Gout Gout is running faster than most professional sprinters twice his age. He's already broken national records, stunned the athletics world, and clocked times faster than Usain Bolt did at the same age. But behind the medals, headlines, and wind-assisted sub-10-second sprints is a deeper story. A story of raw talent, discipline, sacrifice, and a coach who's been through more than most. This is the story of Gout Gout, Australia's next big hope in sprinting, and how he's torching the 200 meters like nobody expected.
Knew we'd see this in the final 50, so let's watch the young superstar rise. He's flying. He will be Gout.
Gout Gout wasn't born into fame. He's the son of South Sudanese immigrants and grew up in Queensland, Australia. From a young age, Gout stood out, not because he was loud or flashy, but because he was fast, really fast. At Ipswich Grammar School, where he's still finishing year 12, Gout's speed quickly became impossible to ignore. Teachers, classmates, and eventually coaches started noticing. But the person who saw the biggest potential in him early on was Sheppard, the woman who would become his coach, mentor, and guiding hand. Sheppard isn't your typical athletics coach. She didn't come from an elite sports background. In fact, she used to work at Woolworths and then in a school uniform shop. She first started training athletes through her involvement in little athletics with her own kids. She didn't go to the Australian Institute of Sport. She wasn't part of the High Performance Network. But what she lacked in connections, she made up for with passion, discipline, and a no-nonsense approach. She noticed something special in Gout, not just his speed, but his mindset, his ability to stay calm under pressure, his emotional intelligence. She says it takes about 4 years to really know an athlete, and she's been working with Gout for almost that long. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where Gout Gout starts turning heads. In December, at the Australian All-Schools Championship, Gout ran 20.04 seconds in the 200 meters, breaking Peter Norman's national record that had stood since 1968. That record was older than Gout's parents. Gout Gout ran the 200 meters in 20.04 seconds, which broke the 56-year-old Australian record held by Peter Norman and also surpassed Usain Bolt's personal best at the same age. In April, at the Australian Athletics Championships, he clocked a wind-assisted 9.99 in both his heat and the final of the 100 meters. Those times don't count as official records because the wind was too strong. But they prove one thing. He's getting dangerously close to running a legal sub-10. That's something only one Australian has ever done, Patrick Johnson, who ran 9.93 back in 2003. But greatness doesn't come without sacrifice. Coach Sheppard has made it clear, to compete at the top, you don't get to live like a normal teenager. Your social life will be non-existent, she told Gout years ago. And now, that's exactly what's happening. While most of his classmates are out with friends or relaxing after school, Gout is training 6 days a week. He does 2 gym sessions on top of that. And he still has to study for his final exams. I've been telling him for a couple of years that when we get to a set point, your social life will be pretty much non-existent, in the sense you just can't go out where you want, she says. He's at that point pretty much now, which is kind of tough when you think he's still at school. It's a heavy load, but he doesn't complain. Sheppard's coaching style is tough, and it comes from her own tough past. She was hit by a car while riding a motorcycle and has had 11 surgeries on her leg. She walks with a limp and wears a knee brace. She lives with a chronic infection in her leg that prevents more operations. On top of that, she's lived through serious personal trauma, the kind she doesn't talk about in detail publicly. She says it took until 2021 when she finally saw a counselor to begin processing it all. Her breakthrough? Realizing that she survived, that she came out the other side stronger, and that maybe, just maybe, her purpose was to help others do the same. Despite never chasing fame, Sheppard has built one of the most respected training squads in Australia. She never advertised her services. athletes just started showing up and staying. She helped guide Joseph Dung, the 800-meter record holder, before Peter Boll broke that mark. More recently, another of her runners, Jonathan Cassiano, won the under-18 200-meter title in Perth. The results speak for themselves. Gout Gout, though, is something else entirely. Even as fame starts to find him, Gout's handling it with maturity beyond his years. He recently appeared on a live TV show wearing a Real Madrid tracksuit and casually busted out a dance move on set. He joked about being starstruck when some Collingwood footy players asked him for a photo on a flight, but he didn't let it go to his head. He still prefers the 200 meters over the 100 because he knows he's not the best starter, but once he gets moving, no one's catching him. Gout has set his sights on the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. That's just 3 years away. If his current times hold, he could already be a contender to reach the finals, maybe even more. But the real goal? Brisbane 2032. It'll be his home Olympics. He'll be 24. That's when sprinters typically hit their peak. Sheppard and Gout are already planning for that long run. They're not chasing quick glory, they're chasing the mountaintop. Every great athlete hits a plateau. Sheppard knows it. Gout knows it. It's just part of the process. There will be setbacks. Races he doesn't win, days where the body doesn't cooperate, times when the attention gets too loud. But Sheppard is preparing him for that too. She says, when it comes, we say, bang, okay, time to find our next level. In June and July, Gout is heading to Europe to compete against the best young sprinters in the world. He'll face new challenges, stronger competitors, unfamiliar tracks, different weather. But if he gets the right conditions and a legal tailwind, we could see history. A sub-10-second 100. A sub-20-second 200. At just 17. That would change everything. In a sport where records often feel out of reach, Gout Gout is reminding us that sometimes the next legend is already among us. Training quietly, working hard, and running faster than anyone thought possible. He's not just chasing times, he's chasing greatness. And if he keeps going like this, he just might catch it. If you're into stories of rising legends and record-breaking speed, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because Gout Gout's journey is just getting started.
So let's watch the young superstar rise. He's flying. He will be Gout of this.
What exactly did Gout Gout just announce that has the sprinting world in a frenzy? At just 16, his latest move isn't just big, it's a complete game changer. In the world of track and field, breaking records isn't just about speed, it's about legacy. And right now, that legacy is being shaken by a teenager named Gout Gout. You might not have heard his name before, but what he just did on the track has everyone watching. Gout Gout isn't just fast, he's record-breaking fast. At just 16, this Australian sprinter did something no one in his age group has ever done. He shattered Usain Bolt's long-standing 200-meter record for under 18 athletes.
Legs loose and let the kid run. He is absolutely gone. He is Gout of this world.
Let's rewind for a second. Back in 2003, a young Usain Bolt ran the 200 meters in 20.13 seconds. That was the fastest time ever recorded by a 16-year-old, and it stood unchallenged for over 2 decades. That is until December 20th, 24, when Gout Gout stepped onto the track at the Australian All-Schools Championships. With the crowd buzzing and the cameras rolling, Gout clocked an unbelievable 20.04 seconds. Let that sink in. He didn't just edge past Bolt's time, he crushed it. And suddenly, this soft-spoken kid from Queensland was making global headlines. But that wasn't the whole story. In the 100 meters, Gout was just as explosive. He ran a wind-assisted 10.04 seconds in the heats. And while that time doesn't count officially due to the wind, it was a serious statement. Then he followed up with a legal 10.17 seconds in the final, breaking the Australian under 18 record. And this wasn't just a one-off. Gout's been consistently putting down world-class times, and coaches around the globe are starting to take notice. So, who exactly is Gout Gout? Born in Ipswich, Queensland, to South Sudanese parents, Gout started off in soccer. But it didn't take long before his blistering speed caught the attention of coaches who urged him to switch to track. It was a gamble, but it paid off big. His progression has been nothing short of electric. Every season, he's shaved off time, outpacing older and more experienced runners. And what really sets him apart isn't just his raw talent, it's how calm and focused he is under pressure. At just 16, he carries himself like a pro. And now, Big names are getting involved. Gout recently signed a major sponsorship deal with Adidas. That alone would be huge for any athlete, let alone a teenager. But there's more. He's headed to Florida to train with Olympic champion Noah Lyles. That's like a rising young actor suddenly going to work under the mentorship of Denzel Washington. You don't get those opportunities unless people truly believe you're the real deal. So what's next for the teenage phenomenon? Gout is aiming for the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. It's an ambitious goal, but no one's counting him out. If his current trajectory continues, he could very well be lining up alongside the world's fastest men in just a few months. And beyond that, he's got his sights set on the 2032 Olympics in Brisbane, a dream that feels more and more likely every day. But with great speed comes great pressure. Comparisons to Usain Bolt are flattering, sure, but they also set a sky-high bar. Bolt wasn't just fast. He was a showman, a record breaker, and a global icon. Gout is different. He's quieter, more reserved. But he lets his running do the talking, and right now it's shouting one message. The sprinting world has a new contender. The buzz isn't just about what he's done, it's about what he might do next. Scouts and analysts are already debating how far he could go. Could he break the 10-second barrier in the 100 meters as a teenager? Could he one day threaten Bolt's senior world records? These questions seemed impossible a year ago. Now, they're very real. And it's not just the speed that's got people talking. Gout represents something bigger. A new generation of athletes from diverse backgrounds redefining what the future of sprinting looks like. His story, from a soccer-loving kid in Queensland to the fastest 16-year-old on the planet, is one of opportunity, ambition, and sheer talent. But don't blink, because this race is just getting started. As Gout Gout prepares to step onto the world stage, one thing's for sure. The legacy of sprinting is about to get a whole lot faster. And if you thought Usain Bolt was untouchable, think again. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your predictions, and don't forget to like the video if you think he's the next sprinting legend. This journey's just getting started, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. This is Eliud Kipchoge, the man who many consider to be the greatest marathoner of all time. His legacy stands at a critical turning point as he approaches the 2025 London Marathon. In the 2019 London Marathon, Kipchoge won his fourth London title, officially winning this race more than any other male athlete before him. But the manner in which he won this marathon was just shocking. For the opening half, Kipchoge split a time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 37 seconds, still running right next to many of the world's best marathoners. But for the final half marathon, Kipchoge dropped the hammer with a closing half in 61 minutes flat. For his final 2 miles, this is where he really went crazy, dropping a split of 8 minutes and 56 seconds. The best marathon there has ever been dominates. Kipchoge really proved his untouchable status on this London course. Now 6 years in the past, and my goodness, did he ever make it look easy. After breaking the world record yet again in Berlin in 2022, and then winning his second Olympic title in the Tokyo Marathon, many speculated that this man just might be untouchable until the day that he retires. However, like all things, what goes up must come down. In the 2023 Boston Marathon, Kipchoge took a pretty significant loss, only placing 6th and finishing more than 3 minutes behind the eventual winner, Evans Sheppard. At 38 years old, Kipchoge was no longer the unbeatable athlete that crushed his competition by minutes and minutes. He was now officially just another very talented marathoner.
All right, Eliud, welcome back to London. I know you spoke in the press conference earlier. Last year was a difficult season for you with your marathons. Why do you think that was? What do you think went wrong last year?
I don't think there was a big mistake, but you know, when you train for 5 months and you don't get the result, and you know, then that's a big challenge. And you know, a lot was going on, and but all in all is that I have woke up, go to training every day, and I'm ready for Sunday.
This rather abrupt halt in his true dominance in the marathon took an even steeper dive downwards when it came to the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. For the first time in his career, Kipchoge wasn't even able to finish, citing extreme pain in his hips and back. He was actually driven away from the course just after passing 30 kilometers. Seeing this happen to such a talented athlete was not only shocking, but quite devastating. For more than 10 straight years, Kipchoge was the voice of inspiration and determination around the running world. If he had managed to win this Olympic marathon, he would have been the first athlete in history to win 3 marathon titles. However, time itself truly appeared to be Eliud Kipchoge's biggest rival. This brings us to 2025. In this year's London Marathon, we officially have one of the deepest and most anticipated races in marathon history. The incredible talent that will be assembled this Sunday to attack the streets of London is absolutely outstanding.
Do you still feel like you're healthy? Like
Yes, I'm healthy.
Yeah?
Yes.
And your sessions, do you run them, I mean, are you running them as fast as you used to when you were in world record shape? Are they the same or are they any different now?
I'm running in a good way. Finishing my session is in a good way, in a happy way. Yeah.
What would be, what would be a good race for you, a good result for you on Sunday?
I think I want to run a beautiful and a good result. So I want to run with the fast people, and the results I'm getting in, I will be satisfied. Move on.
In today's press conference just a few hours ago, Kipchoge has left the world once again super excited about the prospects of his running this weekend. When inquired about this year's London expectations, Kipchoge was once again quite cryptic about his goals. He said he was looking to run a beautiful marathon. He talked about how his training has never really changed and he was very optimistic about running this weekend. But then he was asked about the expected pace for this year's London race, as it was recently announced that the lead pacers are expected to hit an opening half marathon in around 61 minutes or slightly slower. Here was his response to this question. Opening half split will be around 61 low, I would think. Is that still a pace you feel comfortable running? Absolutely yes! This expression, this slight smirk on his face tells me that Kipchoge still has some unbelievable speed in his legs. It's also quite a rarity to see Kipchoge answering a question this directly. In recent marathons, whenever Kipchoge is discussing exact paces, exact time goals, or anything that requires exact numbers, he will not give away anything. He will just say that he's looking to run fast, he's feeling good, and his training is typically going well. But this response could mean that Kipchoge is actually in amazing fitness right now. Given that his training has recently been outstanding as usual, running about 120 miles per week, I can only imagine that Kipchoge might have another quick time for us.
Is that still a pace you feel comfortable running?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Have you changed anything in your training as you've gotten older? You've been running the marathon for over 10 years now.
Not at all. I have never changed anything. I still love running. I still love actually to stretch in training, to feel where my body can be. Yeah.
Now, going out in, let's say, 61 minutes and 15 seconds for the opening half would put them right at an expected pace of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds for the finish. This is already incredibly quick. A time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds would already place you in the top 7 all-time for the marathon. Given the insane quality of this year's men's marathon and the good weather that is expected for this coming Sunday, I think it's pretty likely that we will see at least one athlete running a 2:02.
Yeah. And we have Jacob Kiplimo is making his debut.
Yes.
He's the world record holder in the half marathon. What do you think he's capable of running in the marathon?
I think he's capable of running anything. He has a good mind of trying to take any challenge. He's capable of running anything.
We also have the 2 hour and 2 minute marathoner and last year's Valencia champion Sebastian Sawe. We've got the 2024 Olympic marathon champion Tamaret Tola from Ethiopia. There's another 2:02 athlete in Timothy Kiplagat. And one of the biggest wildcards in marathon history that will be running this Sunday as well is none other than Jacob Kiplimo from Uganda, the half-marathon world record holder. He ran a shocking 56:42 earlier this season, which was genuinely one of the most surreal road racing performances I have ever seen, as he obliterated the previous record by 48 seconds. The full men's field includes a total of 10 runners, with PBs under 2 minutes 5 seconds. Given that the weather is looking absolutely ideal, there's even more of a chance that we will see a quick race. Currently, the forecast for this Sunday has a starting temperature right around 47 degrees Fahrenheit. There's also a 0% chance of rain, and the wind is also expected to be practically nothing, meaning that all lights will be green for a very fast marathon. No athlete in London history has ever won the marathon a total of 5 times. If Kipchoge could somehow pull off this victory, he would once again be entering into legendary territory. But this really does seem as though it will be extremely challenging given the incredible depth. But there's also another goal that I am sure has crossed Kipchoge's mind, and that is the Masters Marathon World Record. Currently, the man that holds the 40 years and older world record in the marathon is none other than one of Kipchoge's good friends, Kenenisa Bekele, an athlete that has been racing against Kipchoge since the early 2000s. Bekele was actually originally slated to run in this year's London Marathon, but he sadly dropped out just a few days ago, citing injury and training difficulties over the past few months. Bekele's current Masters record stands at 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 15 seconds, which he actually ran in last year's London Marathon.